Manhattanville, as the Valiants had beaten Thomas 2-1 here at home back on October the 6th. For University of Maine-Farmington, easily the most interesting team in terms of the semifinals here this weekend. All their wins come in conference plays. They went 5-3 in the conference, 5-13 on the year. They have the worst record coming into, obviously, the semifinals of all the teams. But it should be interesting to see how they play here this afternoon. Again, the Valiants stay ready, clinched their bid into the NECC championship, leaving one of these two teams to face Manhattanville at 12 p.m. tomorrow afternoon. So, with that being said, we'll take a look. Obviously, in the University of Maine-Farmington, the Beavers line up first. Olivia Kunish, a first-year midfielder. Chloe Horn, a sophomore forward. Alex Bessie, a junior forward. Emily Corbett, a sophomore midfielder. We have Abby Parmaleu, a first-year midfielder. Casey Tallarico, a junior forward. Emily Tolman, a first-year forward. Gracie Foss, a first-year forward as well, so 3 forwards up there, according to the roster. Maya Daniels, a first-year midfielder. Lydia Ovacina, a defensive back who is a sophomore. And in goalie for the University of Maine-Farmington, Caitlin Releo, a first-year goalie. Now for Thomas, as the Terriers will have they're going to have a good variety, obviously a great year for the Terriers here on this roster between youth and experience. Brittany Gregori, a freshman, or rather a sophomore forward. We have Sydney Plorty, a freshman forward. Hannah Messervy, a sophomore defenseman. Christina Dennis, as well as Denita Story. Dennis, a midfielder. Story, a forward. Ali Gregori, a junior defender. Haley Thebarch, a senior defender. So Lindsay Gregori. So 3 Gregoris, by the way, on this roster. He's a sophomore. She's a sophomore midfielder. Also, Krista Porter. Actually, apologies, not Krista Porter, rather Desiree Parkhurst. There's also Alexis Vachon and also Leah Cruz. Leah Cruz, the goalie for Thomas here in this matchup. Now, in terms for Thomas, they have 3 goalies they can turn to. Cruz, in terms, obviously, their main goalie. Now, we look at the stats, by the way. Here is the stat line. Obviously, we mentioned back in the Manhattanville game.
What's up? No, we're all done. That's it.
So, in terms of the goalie battle here today, well, in terms of the top 5 stats, Leah Cruz 1.78, a 68% save percentage. Mackenzie Oberholzer, the other Thomas goalie, has a 1.86 goals allowed per game and a 74% save percentage, so they're around dead even. The University of Maine-Farmington's goalie today, of Caitlin Releo, is not in that top 5 category. Again, obviously the Valiants, they carried 2 top 5 goalies in terms of stats, as the same thing for Thomas. And New England had Philbin, who played a great game despite the loss, that sits in 5th in the stat category.
It says 90. It says 99 on the sheet.
Yeah, but it says 88 over here.
I said 88 for starters.
Yeah. They have 99 on their roster, so that's their fault. Their backup goalie?
Yeah, they're back up to 77.
Okay, that's fine. Thank you.
So, Thomas will be the first ones to break huddle.
Not 99, 77.
Maine-Farmington on the pitch already.
Start on the whistle, not on the touch.
Wait, the opening whistle to get things underway. And we are underway here at GoValiant.com Field. So let's see. Number 2 Thomas taking on number 3 University of Maine-Farmington. Who will advance to the NECC Finals? It'll be Bessie down the left side. Trying to find an angle early on. And it's going to be a takeaway back by Thomas. That one out of play. Thomas in the black uniforms. Maine-Farmington in the white. For those perhaps on the neutral side that hasn't seen neither of these teams play this year. Bessie had a pass taken away. And now Maine-Farmington trying to set it up as they got it back. It's turned back over to Messervy and set up the pitch yet again for Maine-Farmington, trying to draw things up early. Oh, there's a takeaway. Clean play. No whistle. And Maine-Farmington again trying to work to the right side. The score line when these two teams met earlier on in the season, it was Thomas who won 2-1 over Maine-Farmington. Both of these teams relatively evenly matched in terms of the statistics. The only difference really is the record for both of these teams. Obviously mentioned Thomas 12-6, 6-1 in the conference. 5-3 was Maine-Farmington, 5-13 this year. That one again sent out to the left on the far side. And it'll be Maine-Farmington that will pass in. For Maine-Farmington, the top players to look for in terms of today, Alex Bessie has 16 goals this season. She now actually falls fourth in the conference as Amira Thomas struck with her 17th in the first game. That one's going to be whistled down, and it'll go back to Thomas. But Bessie, 35 points as well coming into today. The players to watch for Thomas, Brittany and Gregori, and obviously all the Gregori families. They have 3 of them in terms of Thomas. But she has 14 goals this year and 29 points. That one's going to be clubbed in by Thomas and played out to the right side for Maine-Farmington, but Thomas takes it back on the near. That's going to be a whistle, as drawing the foul was Lindsay Gregori. Or rather, Gregori. So Thomas now after the transition. 11:08 to go in the opening period. It's going to be passed off, and Sets towards the middle, another takeaway. But, oh, no, rather a whistle that'll send it on back. Here's Tolman, who passes it off to the left. Kunish spreads it out to the left again to Tolman. And that'll go to the end, and it's going to be whistled and set back to Thomas. Thomas trying to pin it away as Messervy now passes it out. Another whistle. And Thomas again getting the call on the whistle. Working towards the first 5 minutes. Haven't seen a shot yet from either side. We only saw 5 shots in the opening period of game 1 for Manhattanville and 1 for New England. So if that shows anything, that it could be a defensive matchup here as well today, as it'll be Gregoire that passes down the right side. There was another whistle, so they had a reset. That one's going to be taken away, and yet again another whistle that'll benefit Thomas. Shot. That one looked like it was clubbed back out. It was, I believe, number 16, Story, that took the shot. And Maine-Farmington now will have the possession on the far side. So the Valiants are down the right side. It'll be Gregoire that passes it now. Dennis now trying to cut the angle, and instead it's again another whistle that'll be reset. Dennis again towards the end, and that one rolls out of play. 8:15 to go. We haven't seen a corner yet for either side. Only one shot in the early frame for both teams. That is, well, actually, Maine-Farmington still yet to get a shot, but one shot overall. Up in front, they scramble around trying to find the ball, and it's going to be turned back over. Actually, I apologize, rather reset for Thomas up top. Again, it's going to be blocked and sent all the way back out to near midfield. Here comes Maine-Farmington charging, led by Bessie. Bessie, oh, but then the whistle's on her, and it goes back to Thomas. So it'll go right back. We'll go right back to Thomas as they have the possession. Dennis will give it back, and it'll be set back up. 7:15 to go. Again on the near side. Here's Maine-Farmington. As they pass off, it was Bomarleu. And now Thomas taking it back up across midfield. And again, drawing another whistle. It'll be Falkingham now who will send that forward. It's sent back out yet again, this time for Maine-Farmington. Oh, losing the stick there was Christina Dennis. She lost her club there, and that one goes out of play. So it'll be passed on in from Tolman. And yet again, another whistle. We've seen a plentiful amount of whistles in the early going.
You probably could push out the sidearm now, but at this point, it's fine. As long as you're getting hot tail now, I'm not anything.
So against the end line, it'll go back to Thomas as they signal the turnover of transition. Apologize for that. 5:35 to go. It'll be Maine-Farmington that tries to go with the backhand pass on the near side. It was too wide of Williams and will go back to Thomas. Here's Messervy, who passes it off. And back and forth again, both teams taking possession. Maine-Farmington with it as it'll be sent by Kunish down the right side. Here comes Maine-Farmington again as they try to find an angle. You know, it's interesting that what we've seen here in this first period, Thomas, obviously the better team in terms of record-wise, is, oh, here's a chance into the slot, but it's sent out of play. They couldn't set it down. Maine-Farmington had a chance to go up 1-0, but couldn't play it. So 4:45 to go. And it'll be Thomas with the possession. You know, it's interesting, though, in this first period, we've seen Maine-Farmington really dominate in terms of the time of possession. The thing is they haven't been able to get shots off. Thomas took one shot. That's, well, really been the only shot we've seen at this point of the matchup. Here's Gregoire. She passes out, and no whistle as a player for Thomas goes down. Now on the near side, that one blocked, and Thomas still with it. Here's Wante. Wante trying to find an angle. Backhanded pass is taken away for the moment by Maine-Farmington. Now we have two whistles out there on the pitch. And they'll have them reset with 3:49 to go. Maine-Farmington back behind the red line, passing it out to the right. And work on across the midfield stripe and now begin to pinch yet again on Thomas. Finding the angle down the right towards the end line, but Thomas closes it out. As that time it was Vachon that made the angle, but obviously there was a whistle after she got off the angle. They gave it back to Maine-Farmington. Now Maine-Farmington again challenging, but here's a whistle, and then he'll give it back to Thomas as they were just getting to the edge of the circle, but ultimately gave it back. So now Thomas again with the possession. That pass now down towards the far left side. They try to pursue possession, but it's taken away. Long pass taken from Foss, and it's intercepted. So now Thomas with some separation as they pass down the right side. That one too wide of Wanty, and it rolls out of play. Give it back to Maine-Farmington. Corbett passes it in. It's right into the sticks of Thomas, but Maine-Farmington taking it back in possession. Back and forth, another interception. Here comes Gregoire. That is Ali Gregoire. Maine-Farmington trying to battle. Now Lindsay Gregoire with it. Into the backhand opportunity. They battle around for the ball. Brittany Gregoire was there too, but it got sent back out. Thomas again trying to pitch the angle to Brittany Gregoire, and it's a whistle, and it'll give it back to Farmington and Maine. So Maine-Farmington again with the possession. 1:45 now left. It'll be Tolman who passes it down. Betchery couldn't handle it, and it'll be a whistle that'll set up Maine-Farmington just outside of the red. Here's a pass now from Tolman. Betchery trying to get the ball unpinned. She actually lost her club in the process, and there's another interception by Tolman. Tolman doing a great job on the near side. She'll set the ball down as it rolled out of play. Sets a pass towards the middle for Petrie. And that one will now roll out of play with 1 minute remaining in the opening frame. We haven't seen a single corner yet, surprisingly, as both of these teams like to draw corners. In fact, every team in this conference likes to draw corners, to be openly honest. It's where most success comes from. That one hit by Kunish down towards the middle of the pitch, battling and taking it away. I believe right there, as that's whistled down, was Tallarico. And now after the whistle, Maine-Farmington, oh, that's a turnover as the pass was too high and hit a defensive player right in the arm. So 10 seconds ago, and Thomas now will try to clear the ball out to end the period. 2 seconds, 1 second, the clock hits triple zeros, and we head to the second period of play. So at the end of the first period of action, it's 0-0 here in the second semifinal game here at GoValiants.com field. You're watching Thomas College versus University of Maine-Farmington right here in GoValiants.com Valiant Vision. We'll be right back with the second period as well as stats in just a couple of moments. We welcome you back to GoValiants.com Valiant Vision as we get ready for the second period of action. 0-0 between Thomas and Maine-Farmington. One shot between both of these teams, and Thomas was the one who had the shot. It was Danita Story who had the one shot. And by the way, it wasn't even on goal because it was blocked. So, as we head into the second frame, let's see if it's going to be what it was in the first period, and that was a battle of the midfield and very good defenses. I mean, this just shows how tight of a game that we're going to see here this afternoon. Again, the winner of this matchup will face Manhattanville tomorrow at 12 p.m. here at GoValiants.com field for the NECC Championship. The Valiants winning 2-0 against New England College as we start the second period. But the Valiants beat New England College 2-0 as they scored a goal in the first and second quarters to ultimately end up becoming victorious after the full 4 15-minute periods. So Thomas will have the possession as it'll be Gregoire who passed it off, and they'll have to reset as the ball rolled out of play off a Farmington player's stick. Terriers, I mean, they have a very good unit. They just haven't been able to really, obviously they do have the only shot of the game, but when I look back at what happened in the first period, Maine-Farmington has really come out to play in terms of how they've played here today. They've owned the time of possession for the most part, and they've really been on Thomas's side of the pitch for most of the game. And obviously, there's still a long way to go. This one is a pass that's blocked and then sent back out. It was directed from Tolman, and it'll go back to Thomas after the whistle. Here comes Brittany Gregoire. Gregoire cross midfield, sends one out to the left. Danita Story now has it taken away, and it's passed off to the right side, right into Thomas's defense as Vashon passes it up, and now she'll go backwards. Worked through the first 2 minutes. I'm still very surprised that we're yet to see a corner here this afternoon. Perhaps a chance for Maine-Farmington, but nope. Instead, it's taken back away. And both teams, again, still battling for possession towards the circle. It's Vashon trying to clear everything out. Maine-Farmington brings everyone up for the most part here on this pressure. And obviously, they have to keep the 2 defenders behind the red, and they keep 2 back behind midfield. Down the right side, that one clubbed into the circle, need away, and it's a score! Maine-Farmington makes it 1-0. A big, big shot by Alex Bessie to put Maine-Farmington up 1-0. And after a tough 2-1 loss.
12:40? Yes, set main clock 12:40. I was going to change my eye at 12:38 on my thing.
Was there assist on that or no?
I don't know.
After a tough loss to Thomas 2-1 earlier in the season, Maine-Farmington takes a lead as the Maine-Farmington side cheering for Bessie. Now, Thomas, you have to go through some adversity because, A, have they not only struggled to get across Maine-Farmington's side of the pitch, but on top of it, they haven't played down much this season in terms of games. Again, they've only lost 6 games this year and only 1 conference game, and obviously they lost to Manhattanville. So in that terminology, it's going to be very interesting. Oh, that one whiffed upon, and it's going to give it to Thomas off the high stick. As Pomerleau whiffed on the pass, it'll be Allie Gregoire who will have it. Allie Gregoire passes it up towards her sister, Brittany Gregoire. And back and forth again. The transition, Thomas trying to clear through the zone. But Maine-Farmington right there as they get towards the near side of the line, not able to handle it as it goes out of play. 11.5 minutes ago, we finally see a score and a shot, by the way, for Maine-Farmington. That was their first of the day as they were able to be successful. Still only 2 shots in this game, and we still haven't seen a corner for either side yet. Here comes a chance. Down the right side for Thomas. It's Lindsay Gregoire this time, but instead it's a turnover. Oh, actually, apologize. Corner.
Stop clock. I'm just looking down at my
11:04 to go. And a first corner of the day, so as I mentioned it, it ends up being the first opportunity. So, for Thomas, it'll be Allie Gregoire who will pass it off. They stack them all towards the middle. The quick shot is blocked. Another shot is saved, and then it's a score! Thomas ties it back up. Brittany Gregoire on the score. Initially, the shot was taken by Danita Story, and it was rebounded out to the left. So just like that, Brittany Gregoire ties it up at 1 apiece. So both number 3s score.
3 scored, right?
Oh, no, apologize. Allie Gregoire got the score. She got it from Brittany Gregoire. So, got it right, at least in terms of the last name and the assist. So Allie Gregoire with the first goal of the game for Thomas, and just like that, what started this period at 0-0 and Maine-Farmington taking a lead ends up resulting in a 1-1 tie for the moment. But again, Thomas now they've put some pep in their step as they've come to life, and another corner drawn. So here we go, another corner upcoming for Thomas. Again, it's going to be Allie Gregoire who goes out to set up the corner off the pass. They stack them all middle, and then one to the right, one to the left. Obviously, one defensive back. Allie Gregoire passes out. That one clubbed and blocked, and then it'll be sent off the right for Plardy as it's passed out, and it'll give it to Maine-Farmington. So here's Corbett now. She'll have to make the pass. And that one, the two players go down. For Maine-Farmington, it was Chloe Horn and Hannah Messervey, who went down for Thomas. Tolman now makes the pass. That one blocked, and he goes back to Maine-Farmington. But then now Maine-Farmington taking back. Thomas took the possession and then drew the whistle. Tolman trying to pinch the angle, has it taken away by the defense yet again here of Thomas. It was Messervey who took it away. Back and forth, both teams trading possessions at around midfield. And now Thomas with the numbers as they start to come up the pitch. It's Plardy that passed it out to the right, and it's going to be reset for Thomas as Lindsay Gregoire had to catch her breath there for a moment. 8:42 to go. Let's see if they work out. Now they'll work down to the right, and it'll end up going back out to the left as Allie Gregoire drew the foul. They try to work towards the circle, and again, they'll get the possession to reset. 8:21 to go. This time it's Dennis. Dennis trying to work her way in now. And a whistle gives it back to Maine-Farmington. Now working towards the 8-minute mark. It's sent off across the red line in bounds and now out of play. It was Dennis trying to contest, saying that it was last touched by Tolman, but instead Maine-Farmington has the possession on the near side as Bessie tripped up. Now she has an angle down the left. Here's Bessie trying to cut it in. Can she keep it in bounds? No, she can't. This goes out of play. But they called a whistle beforehand, so she'll reset. Now down the left side. Rather on the near. They'll club one up towards the circle. Can anyone get there for Maine-Farmington? They can. There's a whistle, and it's a corner. So Maine-Farmington will have their first corner here of the afternoon, as drawing the whistle was Tellerico. See how Maine-Farmington now will answer. Believe that's Bessie who will set the corner. The shot is blocked. Now the return shot is going to be saved, and it's another corner.
Who took that first shot? Who received the pass and shot it?
That was number one.
Okay.
So Kunish could get the shot off, but then ultimately it ended up resulting in another corner. The pass in, clubbed. Oh, that one was whiffed upon, and ends up going back out. It was also blocked. The Valley, or rather Maine-Farmington, trying to pitch, as obviously the Valley, it's waiting to see who they will see on the far side. Watching this game, and there's the score. Actually, no one apologized. Corner. Didn't see the hands. Heard the cheers. One just on the edge of the circle. So Thomas, with 6:44 to go, looking to take their first lead of the day.
Who's been taking them 17?
Yeah, she's been taking them. Number 17.
Again, it'll be Allie Gregoire who will spread it out to the left. They only keep one back, and that's Packhurst. I have to assume one of the Gregoires will get it here. So that's what they've done for the most part. That'll be set up and clubbed out. They're in the circle, but that one's blocked as Lindsay Gregoire couldn't get it off. And Maine-Farmington ultimately benefits off of surviving that corner again, as now they'll set up and pass it out of play. Yeah, that was not a good pass at all. That was meant to be sent down the pitch, and instead went well out of play. And with 6 minutes to go, Thomas in good field positioning here. Here's Dennis. She works off with her left. Has it poked away with 5:50 to go. And Thomas contesting, saying the ball went out of play. And it did. So Messervey passed it in, and then it'll whistle. So now it'll be Dennis who will pass. Dennis sets one up right for Gregoire. That is Brittany Gregoire. And they still poke around. Here again is Dennis, who passed it off, and it's taken away for the moment by Maine-Farmington. And then there's a whistle that'll give it back to Thomas. Towards the circle, here's a great positioning for Thomas, potentially for the lead. They try to work around, and the backhand shot into the slot, and it's a corner.
Is that 3 shot it?
5 minutes flat to go.
Yeah, and now it's a corner. We'll do the sub after the corner. We can't do it yet.
They're actually doing it right now.
No, they're not gonna. She can't come on the field until after.
It'll be 23
Yeah,
for 2.
23 for 2.
So, Allie Gregoire will set up yet again. They have Blarty to the right. I'd want to say Wanty to the left. That shot is blocked out to the right, and nothing happens, but it's another corner again. 4:46 to go this time.
Who's it? 23 just went in for 2?
Yeah.
And again, now Allie Gregoire will set the ball. They've luckily had the corner chance out of that side every single time so far, so that's made it a little bit easier for their set. This time they'll work towards the middle. That one set down, set off left. Good separation, but it's kicked away. A great job in defense,
Oh, they did it again?
as again another corner upcoming.
I think that's.
So Maine-Farmington just can't escape the corner right now, as Thomas again having another chance to score here. Gregoire passes it off to the left. Shot is blocked and saved as Brittany Gregoire that time took the shot. She took the shot before as well. 4:15 to go. Maine-Farmington now with the possession on the far side of the pitch. One of these teams looking to take the lead back here in the second frame as we work towards the 4-minute mark. It'll be Thomas who takes it away, as Ali Gregoire was the one on the interception. Now Lindsey Gregoire swings it around, and that one out of play with 3:33 to go. So the reset as Maine-Farmington now has the possession on the near far, or rather on the far side near the edge, and that one went out of play. So it'll be reset for Maine-Farmington. Thomas trying to find the angle. Oh, no whistle. Now there's the whistle. And it's going to be a stoppage. And ultimately, a corner because of the whistle. Maine-Farmington and their coach, Cindy Pratt, not pleased with the call. So, Maine-Farmington again with on the edge of their cleats. Ali Gregoire again to set it. Gregoire passes. The set, left. They try to work a shot. It's clubbed. And it's in! The big goal for Danita Story. And Thomas has taken their first lead of the afternoon. 2:40 to go. 2-1 Thomas leads. And after not seeing a single shot,
24. 24. Correction. 24. 24.
Correction. It's actually assisted by number 24, Desiree Parkhurst.
so Thomas has the lead.
And 24. All right? Correct. So 16 from 18 and 24.
Thomas,
Was actually scored by number 16, Danita Story. Assisted by number 18.
that one clubbed by Maine-Farmington. Thomas, though, with a 2-1 lead here in the second period. You had to figure that after only seeing one shot combined between both of these teams after the first frame, things were going to pick up. Thomas was down 1-0, but has found some momentum. Ali Gregoire struck the first goal, and then Danita Story now gave him the lead. Again, both these teams playing with a reason. Tomorrow, one of these teams will face Manhattanville at noon Eastern here at GoValiants.com field. That's another whistle. Maine-Farmington trying to get out of trouble. That one's clubbed, blocked by Ali Gregoire. And now Maine-Farmington across the red line, trying to get across midfield and trying to get something going with under a minute to go. Looks like there's going to be an angle for Thebarge and a whistle. That gives it back to Thomas. It's going to be sent across the red line. Maine-Farmington pitching, and now they'll get the possession back as they have to reset. Working towards now near 30 seconds to go. Pitching. Oh, just missed the chance. So, Maine-Farmington, unfortunately, not able to score there. And Thomas will just dribble it out to end the half. So at the end of the first half of play, it's 2-1, Thomas leading over Maine-Farmington as we head into the half. I mean, big scores there. Thomas down 1-0. It looked like Maine-Farmington was dominant in the first, well, I would say about period and a half. But then Thomas was finally able to get across the midfield portion of the pitch and get Maine-Farmington pinned into their own area, being successful out of the corners and taking shots effectively, ultimately sets up Thomas and the Terriers with the lead. So with that being said, we'll have the first half stats as well as much more as we'll take a quick break. You're watching GoValiants.com, Valiant Vision, the NECC semifinals right here on YouTube. We welcome you back to GoValiants.com, Valiant Vision. Second half underway. They're trying to make the adjustment. Soccer ball from the KO game came on the field, and they're trying to figure out where they're supposed to properly readjust. The stats look like this going into the second half. 9 shots for Thomas, 4 for Maine-Farmington. Again, this is relatively impressive considering after the first period, Thomas only had 1 shot and Maine-Farmington, well, had 0. Maine-Farmington went up 1-0 with a goal from Alex Bessie, and since then it's been neck and neck in terms of how the game's been played defensively, but Thomas has had the upper edge. Ali Gregoire had the first goal, and then Danita Story had the other goal. Story leads right now the game with 3 shots. She's only had 1 on goal. In fact, 4 on goal overall for Thomas. Only 1 shot on goal for Maine-Farmington, and that 1 shot was a goal by Bessie. That one goes back out of play. So on the far side, it'll be Thomas that has the possession. Looking to make it 3-1 again. They won 2-1 over Maine-Farmington earlier in the season. Pitching down the near side, it was Gregoire, and then there's a whistle. Lindsay Gregoire now will set it up if she passes off to Allie Gregoire. Now underneath, here's Brittany Gregoire, and it'll go out.
That was
So it'll be reset back out after the Gregoire shot. All 3 Gregoires there touched the ball in the matter of the possession. That one's going to be passed off and set up. And the edge of the yellow line of the circle. Shot is saved yet again. And that time it was Brittany Gregoire who ended up taking the shot. Thomas will have it just shy of midfield. It'll be passed off to the left. Here is Plardy. And Farmington and Maine, or Maine-Farmington rather, will have the possession. Down the left again. This time it's Plardy. Tell you, a lot of great forwards for this Thomas team. They are a stacked unit with forwards. It's very impressive. Anyone can score. And on top of it, mixture of seniors, juniors, sophomores, and obviously a couple freshmen, making them a very unique roster. Down the left side, here's Brittany Gregoire coming up, but there's going to be a corner upcoming. 11:50 to go. And the first corner of the half for either side. Allie Gregoire has taken all the passes, and she's going to go back yet again. So Allie Gregoire will set up the corner. They bring Dennis out to the left. They'll set it up. Oh, but it's mishandled, and now it's sent out to the right. It's a shot that is saved and kicked out of play. Plardy took the shot, and it's ultimately saved by Maine-Farmington. Also, Lindsay Gregoire took a rebound shot as well. Now here's Lindsay Gregoire down the far side. Pitching in yet again. She's inside the yellow circle, and it's another corner. She just got in by inches across the line. And this is where Thomas is just, so successful. They, You talk about, being successful out of corner opportunities. Well, how about drawing corner opportunities and allowing yourself to get chances? And the clock stops, obviously, every time there's a corner that happens. We hadn't seen a corner in the entirety of the first period. We saw a bunch once we got towards the middle portion of the second period. This one, again, going to be set, but it's wide back in the defense. Gregoire swings it on left. And it'll be Dennis that time, that drew the whistle. And Wine as well, try it again. I mean, at this point, Thomas can pinch Maine-Farmington in the corner for the rest of this game, it feels like. You get opportunity after opportunity. Again, this one passed down the middle. That's going to be passed off to the right from Thebarge, and it's going to be taken away by Maine-Farmington as they finally, after the fourth time, escape the corner. We saw 3 opportunities before for Maine-Farmington to escape the corner in the last half, and obviously here that one was the third attempt as well, but took them 4 tries to pass something out. This time it'll be passed off by Falkingham. And it's set back up in the Maine-Farmington's possession for the moment, but Gregoire couldn't keep it in. And it'll go back to Farmington, and it's now on the far side. They swing it off left. Player had it deflected, and it'll give it to Thomas. So the Terriers set as Falkingham again trying to find the angle. Tripped up was Guy, and it's taken away. Actually now back to Thomas as Messervey intercepted. Again, trying to find the angle. Brittany Gregoire that is. And Maine-Farmington takes it away and flicks it back again for another transition. Messervey sends one up for Brittany Gregoire. And it's poked back out. Maine-Farmington now trying to push. But that one too wide of the intended target of Alex Bessie. Actually, rather, Casey Telrico. Pass was from Bessie. And now they try to pinch. That one clubbed out of the reach of Bessie. And now across the midfield stripe is Dennis. Dennis swings it off to the far side, and it bounces out of play for Thomas to pass it in. Maine-Farmington closing it up, taking it away. They have a substitution getting ready to come in. Looks like Kelsey Williams, a first-year defender, is awaiting to come in. And it looks like she's going to come in for Horn when the time comes. Again, still battling around midfield. No one in these past 2 minutes have been able to get across the red line on either side. Maine-Farmington taking it away. There's another whistle, and it's clubbed down the right side. This one rolling hard, and it's not going to be tracked down in time. The white ball blending in with the reflection of the sun. However, it's Talrico who couldn't get to it. It'll be passed in just past the club of Talrico. Now, Maine-Farmington trying to pinch yet again as they hit it up. Oh, a player went down for Thomas. As taking a hit there was Plarty. And Plarty's hobbling. They're going to stop. She's going to get some assistance. So Plarty's going to come off with some assistance. Thomas is going to have to bring in a substitution as she looks to be in some evident discomfort. Thomas is going to bring in Desiree Wanty. Wanty we've seen once here today. Hopefully things will be just fine for the player of Thomas, because that's a big blow. That's an effective forward for them here today. But that initial reaction, not too convincing in terms of not being able to put pressure down on the leg. 6:50 to go. That one swung out to the near side and out of play. Hit in the air, placed down, and Talrico placed it. But now it'll be a whistle and give it to Farmington, Maine. Here's Foss as she tries to set up the angle, goes back, and it's intercepted by Watsy. Watsy, who just comes in, has it down the end line. Oh, they'll say she went out of play. I don't know if that went over the line. Oh, and then there's a hit delivered.
16 jumped in front of her.
Story tried to cut off the angle. Talrico ran right into her, and Maine-Farmington rather, again with the possession. Here's Daniel. She passes it off. Again, they're favoring Talrico as Talrico gets it off the whistle, trying to find an angle, and another whistle to benefit Farmington. 5:40 to go in the third period. Let's see if Maine-Farmington can find an angle. The Terriers trying to get all over them as they continue to pitch, and we're going to have a corner. First opportunity out of the corner for Maine-Farmington. Cindy Pratt out as far as she physically can be, trying to coach her team through this situation. Almost crossed midfield. Throwing her back up a little bit. So, it'll be Bessie who will pass it in. That one set down. Oh, it's mishandled again, but let's see if they can still find an angle. They pitch. And Bessie again right there. And nothing happening. So 5 minutes to go. Thomas has the possession back. They survived the corner. And unfortunately for Maine-Farmington and the Beavers, they were not able to keep Thomas trapped in the corner, as Thomas has successfully done to them in both the second and even this third period. Thomas intercepts, as now leading the charge will be Gregoire. Brittany Gregoire weaving on through still, and she draws a whistle. So it'll be reset, and Allie Gregoire now will set it up. Actually, rather, it'll be V-Barge that sets it up. And now it'll go outside and be reset. 4:01 to go in the third period, and can Maine-Farmington score a goal to tie things up? I mean, based upon what we saw in the first period, this third period's acting like such, just with the addition of corner opportunities. But the second period saw a plentiful amount of shots for both sides, and obviously 3 scores. We're yet to see a score here in this period, as it's back to a defensive battle. That one couldn't have been placed down. As the reset. It's passed off by Kunish. Kunish still with it now. Takes a shot. Can they put it in? No, they can't. They couldn't get a shot off with 3 minutes to go. Kunish made the angle. They couldn't place it down legally. Otherwise, they could have put it in the back of the cage. They work towards 2.5 minutes. In fact, 2:50 to go. in the third period. It's going to be a whistle. Looks like Thomas has Plardy getting ready to come back onto the pitch, so that's a good sign in terms of that she's okay. Here's an angle, and it's going to be nothing as Gregoire couldn't find an angle to get a shot off. Brittany Gregoire has been active all game long. That pass almost nearly intercepted by Watsy. And Story now will hit it out of play. That ball lined into the air, placed down by Packers. Packers now sends it up fourth for Allie Gregoire. Gregoire has it taken away. And again, back and forth, both teams trading the possession. Maine-Farmington drawing a foul, a minute and a half to go in the third period. Here's Telrico. Telrico down the right has it as a whistle, and it'll be reset. It'll be brought in by Foss. Foss, backhand pass towards the circle. Can Maine-Farmington make something happen? No, they can't. It's cleared out by Dennis. Dennis now sends it up the pitch. It will be fielded down and sent across the midfield line. As again, it is Gregoire coming across. Brittany Gregoire finding the right side angle. And that one goes out of play, and it'll give it back to Maine-Farmington. Can the Beavers find something, though, with 45 seconds left is the real question. They've been able to get down the pitch now. They just haven't been able to find the shots. As a foul on Maine-Farmington gives it back to Thomas. That one passed off from Messervey. And another whistle yet again. Another whistle. And it's a corner. So, drawing the whistle was Brittany and Gregoire. And potentially a goal here for Thomas could seal the deal. Now, obviously, I know we still have a full 15 minutes to go, but the way this game's gone, 2-goal lead is pretty convincing for the Terriers if they can accomplish it. It'll be Allie Gregoire who will move out to the end line here to set the pass. She'll set down the middle. That one clubbed and blocked, and it's another corner. That time it was Thebarge who tried to take the shot. Thebarge just couldn't get it off, and again, Gregoire again will set the corner. This one's passed down the middle again. Passed off to the right. The shot by Story is sent back out. Story again with it. But it's going to be placed down outside the yellow, and it's another corner. As the clock buzzer hits zeros, the question is...
Because there has to be either a miss or there has to be like a solid...
Question is here as the clock's hit zero. Who will Maine-Farmington egg it out of the corner? And B, will Thomas be able to score? So, obviously Maine-Farmington playing to escape the corner and not allowing a chance. This one's going to be set down, shot, blocked, and finally, they couldn't get out of the circle. The shots continue to come, and finally Maine-Farmington clears to end the period. So it was Dennis who took the shot, and then Plardy, who just came back onto the pitch after the injury, who took the second shot, and both of them ended up being blocked. But with that being said, we head to the fourth period of play. The score, Thomas 2 and Maine-Farmington 1. As we get ready for the fourth period of action, we will send you to a break. You're watching Go Valiant, Carolina Valiant Vision on YouTube, the NECC semifinals, as Thomas again against Maine-Farmington up 2-1. And we welcome you back here to the NECC semifinals as we start off the fourth period of action. 15 minutes to go. Thomas up 2-1 over Maine-Farmington. The Terriers versus the Beavers. Obviously, I guess you could say a good rivalry game here in the semifinals. Both of these teams, they're going to put them all on the line. The story of the day has been, well, Story as well as the Gregoire sisters. All three Gregoires have been absolutely dominant here today. And Story had the goal that put Thomas up 2-1. In terms for Maine-Farmington, by the way, Maine-Farmington, they had a goal from Bessie. Maine-Farmington was up 1-0 in this game in the second period. And both these goals, by the way, is here we go. There's a corner. But I was going to say, the two goals came from Thomas down 1-0. And they all came in the second frame. We haven't seen a goal since. So, despite all the opportunities for Thomas out of the corner, they haven't been able to succeed. Let's see if they can do here as Allie Gregoire again will set the corner up for this Terriers team. It'll be set down the middle. Let's see. They'll work again towards the side with DeBarge, and it's nothing as it goes back out to Maine-Farmington. Now down the near side, and it's out of play. And it'll be Plardy, who, again, we mentioned came back from the injury as she went down back in the start of that third period, favoring her knee, has come back in. Here's Lindsay Gregoire now down the left side. It's hit back out to Plardy, but Plardy couldn't club it down, and it's sent all the way back into the defense of Thomas. Thomas now stuck in their own zone for the moment. Maine-Farmington now, they're going to try to pinch. It's a matter of, that one goes out of play, so Maine-Farmington will get it. It's a matter of field positioning here this afternoon. With the exception of the second period and the cluster of shots we saw from both sides, it's been a very strong battle of the midfield defensive type of game here this afternoon. The ball pinned against both clubs for either side, but it's Maine-Farmington who ultimately takes the possession as they work back behind midfield, going south, not north, and they make a wild pass that's too hard to handle from Maya Daniels. Now Daniels tries to poke away, but down the left side, It's Story who tries to find the angle. And we have a whistle. That'll allow Plardy to try to reset. Again, these forwards, though, for Thomas, they're a hassle to work with because there's just so many of them that are very, very good. Makes them obviously a very good program and team. And it'll be reset for Maine-Farmington as a late whistle. That one's set up and taken away by DeBarge. Now it's going to be Gregoire who tries to come up and draws the whistle just outside the yellow. That one is kicked away and goes back to Maine-Farmington. She wasn't within the yellow anyways, so didn't mean much. It wasn't a shot. And it'll be sent back to Thomas again. Plardy has her pass poked out. Now it's Packhurst who comes up. Again down the left side now, Story. She tries to pass it off, and there's a whistle, and it'll give it back to Maine-Farmington. And one out of play. Another poke away here by Thomas. Just can't get off the sideline, it seems. And then they whiff upon a pass that made a soft little bounce, easy takeaway for the Terriers as DeBarge took it away. Here's a chance. It's kicked away as it's going to be a corner. So, Brittany Gregoire, yet again, who's been involved in the action, it feels like every single play, took the shot that was blocked and then ended up drawing it. The corner pass from Gregoire, set, clubbed, and nothing as it was outside the yellow.
4 shots, 3 on goal.
DeBarge took the shot. Just getting the word that Brittany Gregoire is here's a chance for Maryland to come across. It's going to be Bessie. Bessie pitching in right into the sun. Can someone score? No, they can't. As it's sent back out, and we have a trade of possession, perhaps.
Sorry, you're good.
It's sent back out
Yes.
around midfield. But it is to note, though, for Thomas, we talked about Brittany Gregoire being involved. It feels like every play. How about she's taken 4 shots today, 3 of them on goal. And she's been very involved in passing the ball as well. She has an assist. I mean, she's been a difference maker as well as all the Gregoires, as I mentioned, have been today. I mean, it's a big thing when you have, these forwards that are very skillful for Thomas. And it's going to be interesting to see if Thomas can hold on, how they'll deal in a rematch against Manhattanville. Maine-Farmington, who lost 3-1 Manhattanville, would love some vengeance as well. And obviously, Maine-Farmington has a pretty solid midfield, as you've seen here today. But that's really been the difference, Thomas with their forwards and Maine-Farmington with their pretty strong midfielders have made a difference, which midfield is set up for a good defensive battle. As here comes yet again Gregoire. Gregoire trying to find the angle, and she hits it in for the score. Thomas takes a 3-1 lead off a Brittany Gregoire goal. Well, it was about time Brittany Gregoire ended up scoring.
She had a turn, she stole it and then got a breakaway?
With 9 minutes flat remaining in the game. I'll tell you what, I mean, like you said, 4 shots now on goal for her. That was her 5th shot of the game. But when you are just weaving left and right and able to make passes through contests, I mean, Brittany Gregoire easily would be my favorite right now for player of the game for Thomas, because she has been dominant here today. And that's going to be a whistle. Now, if Maryland can answer back right here, actually, I don't know why I said Maryland, Maine-Farmington, rather. If they can answer back right here, this is going to be very, very interesting. Because Maine-Farmington, well, they lost the position because Thomas gets it back. But if they can just answer, put themselves within one, it's a whole different game. But they haven't been able to get shots off as they get close to the cage, which has been the struggling point for them. 3-1, though, the score. Thomas with the lead. 3 different players have scored for Thomas today. And another whistle. You're looking at one of them who just passed it off right now for Thomas, Allie Gregoire, who has done majority of the passing out of the corners. It goes back to Maine-Farmington. Allie Gregoire scored. Danita Story had put him up 2-1 off the score. And then now Brittany Gregoire scores. That also leaves one Gregoire for the moment scoreless. 2 of the 3 score, and the other one that's still yet to score and has almost scored a couple times was Lindsay Gregoire, the midfielder. Here comes Thomas again, poking around for the ball. It's going to be placed down, and they'll say it goes back to Maine-Farmington. The Beavers with very good positioning now if they can find something here. That one passed. It's going to be another whistle. Oh, maybe not. 6:45 to go. It's going to be off to the left.
Oh, God, we lost 5-0.
Underneath. Sent now to the left. Yet again, it's Lindsay Gregoire who draws the corner. So, corner opportunity yet again. Maine-Farmington looks like they're getting ready to bring in one of their defenders out of Jade Petrie.
Like her little Mortal Kombat mask that she wears.
Gregoire will set the corner again. Short little pass. They go back out. It's clubbed and blocked and defended by Maine-Farmington. As it was T-Barge again, who has seen the ball most of the time out of the corner, trying to take the shot. And Thomas gets it back. I mean, now it's about pinning Maine-Farmington on their side of the pitch, not allowing them to do much, and that'll help you ultimately become victorious here in this game. Tarico actually drew the whistle. Clock winding. Maine-Farmington sends a pass, but Kunish's pass was easily intercepted. She got hardly anything on it. And now another whistle drawn by Allie Gregoire. And they're starting to pitch yet again. It's sent out to the left, but too far out of reach for Story. So, for Maine-Farmington, it'll be Maya Daniels now who will pass it in. Daniels sends it down the right. That one kicked out of play by Plardy. So again, Daniels now moves up about 20 feet and passes it down the right side where it rolls out of play to give it back to Thomas. The pass popped into the air. It'll be batted down the left side. As here comes Gregoire again. Gregoire finding an angle. Gregoire taking a shot, and it's kicked away as a save there. And now all of a sudden there's a corner as well for Thomas. But Gregoire, another shot on goal. What a day for Brittany Gregoire, the sophomore. And it's good for Thomas for next year, too, because all three Gregoires will return. The oldest of the Gregoires, Allie Gregoire, will only be a senior next year. This one passed in. It'll be set down. The shot is blocked yet again. And now the return setup is going to be shot and just sent out to the left. T-Barge again initially got involved, and then it was Gregoire who took the shot.
21 took a shot too also. 24 took the last shot wide, right?
And that one now going out of play. But Lindsay Gregoire almost got herself back onto the board. They get towards the edge, and it'll go back to Maine-Farmington. 3:45 to go here in the matchup of the NECC semifinals. Again, Manhattanville has sealed the deal earlier on today, and they will play the winner of this game in the championship tomorrow at noon Eastern. That one clubbed yet again, placed on down by Allie Gregoire. Gregoire loses it, spins right, spins left, and draws a corner. How many corners can you draw? Thomas will tell you, because they've just done so many times here today is, well, drawing corners with efficiency. By the way, Story's getting ready to come back in. I never even noticed she came off the pitch. It'll be set up by Allie Gregoire. The pass out the corner again will be passed off right. Down low, the shot is going to be saved, and it's another corner opportunity. Again, that shot was taken by Lindsay Gregoire. Lindsay Gregoire just missed it by inches. And it's going to be a penalty shot because of the call. And no one better to put on this penalty shot than Brittany Gregoire for Thomas.
So she gets this to be a hat trick, right?
Brittany Gregoire will set here. Let's see if she can seal the deal for Thomas. Thomas up 3-1, 2:58 to go. Brittany Gregoire sets, clubs, and it's a score. Thomas up 4-1. Brittany Gregoire's second goal of the game.
Goal scored by number 3, Brittany Gregoire.
And just like that, I believe it's safe to say, off the stick alone of Brittany Gregoire, Thomas will be advancing tomorrow to play Manhattanville in the NECC Championship. Now, obviously, Maine-Farmington is going to be pending a miracle, but considering the fact that they haven't been able to officially get a shot off since the second period, in which the one goal scored by Alex Bessie put them up 1-0, they've allowed 4 now unanswered goals as Maine-Farmington has struggled here since then, and obviously Thomas has come to life yet again as they're continuing to work down the right side. Another chance for Thomas to pin around the corner. Oh, and they drew another one. Another stoppage, another corner, and another chance for a score. Thomas doesn't want to lay in. The playoff games mean, well, everything. No lead safe. And again, Allie Gregoire to set up the left corner. So she sets near the near side, and based upon what I've seen, I would think T-Barge is going to be the one that sees it. And indeed, they'll place it down. Oh, they didn't go to T-Barge, though. And it goes out of play for another corner. So another corner upcoming. By the way, that time it was Story who made the last contact. But for most of the time, like I said, it's been T-Barge that's seen it a bunch. That time they don't go to T-Barge. It's a shot saved and then just missed out to the left. So it was saved down. I believe it was Wanty who took the initial shot, and then Ali Gregoire missed it wide. And whistle gives it to Maine-Farmington as, well, it's an easy interception for Packhurst. Now down the left side, Story trying to find some angles to develop a foul. She ends up turning it over off the whistle. 1.5 minutes to go left in this game. Gregoire gets called on the whistle. And Maine-Farmington down to their last attempts here to at least move the score within as that one goes out of play. Obviously, if you're going to come back down 3, you're going to have to do it as quickly as you possibly can.
1 minute remaining in regulation.
Thomas trying to pitch around midfield. Plardy takes it away. Now she passes it off to the left. Maine-Farmington takes the possession towards the end line, but it can't be kept in. As that one for Maine-Farmington and went out of play. Now they creep towards the end of the line. Here's Thomas, who sends it out. It's Packhurst. 32 seconds to go. Packhurst still towards the edge, still creeping. Maine-Farmington just trying to get there, but Packhurst isn't giving an inch. She still has it through a double team and all. And it'll be Maine-Farmington finally on the edge that will get the possession after the whistle. They try to pitch up in front. They battle around for the possession, and it's a corner. So, Maine-Farmington will at least have one chance to score their second goal of the game and try to end this season on a high note. The sun, though, right in their faces, which makes it perhaps a little bit of a challenge. The ball is white, might I mind you. So, from our angle here, it reflects directly in the sun. Ball going from sun to shade. That shot is sent out, and that will do it. A shot from Telrico and a shot from Bessie will signal the end. So Thomas wins 4-1 here in the NECC semifinals. And what that means, well, it's relatively simple. The final is set as Thomas will take on Manhattanville for the NECC championship tomorrow at 12 p.m. And let me tell you something here tonight before we review for the game for tomorrow. I'll tell you what. I mean, Thomas, you have to remember back in the first period, they struggled. It did not seem like they really had that much early on. But then they started finding possessions, really started getting some momentum, and ultimately Thomas ended up prevailing and becoming victorious here today. And it all started by, drawing a couple corners in that second period. And they struck off their first corner opportunity of the day and ended up making themselves ultimately successful. Now, in terms of tomorrow, and I know it's hard for Maine-Farmington, by the way, off the loss, but you got to give their defense and midfield a lot of credit. They battled through a lot of corners, but ultimately was not able to get the shots off. Now, in terms of tomorrow, it's going to be an interesting one. We know Manhattanville won today 2-0. A very strong Manhattanville defense faces against a strong variety of forwards. But the real story tomorrow is who will be the better team out of the corner. Manhattanville knows their strong suit offensively is developing those penalty corners, and Thomas is very good at developing a variety of penalty T corners. But again, that'll be the story for tomorrow. The number 1 seed Manhattanville taking on Thomas and the Terriers at noon Eastern. But with that being said, I've been Tim Moore saying so long. You've been watching GoValiants.com Valiant Vision. I'll see you tonight for women's volleyball, but don't forget to tune in. Men's hockey going on right now at the Rye Playland Ice Casino, and there's also women's hockey action tonight. Again, this just completed 2 games of 5 here in GoValiants.com Valiant Vision. But again, say so long, and we'll see you over at hockey.